is my duty to announce that we had an executive session prior to our meeting concerning personnel and legal issues. Would you please stand and salute the flag? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Mr. Prohaski.
Mrs. Kozer,
Yes, here.
Dr. Laughlin. Here. Mrs. Maines.
Here.
Mr. McCommons.
Here.
Mr. Music.
Here.
Mr. Palmer.
Here.
Mrs. Saraf. Here. Dr. Zorch.
Here.
And Mr. Hauser.
Here. Superintendent's report, Dr. Tepper.
I would just like to say this evening is Mr. Mark Mears' last board meeting with us. He will be retiring August 1st.
Very soon.
He has dedicated over 30 years to the school district as a teacher, as a mentor, athletic director, and coach. And we just can't thank you enough for not only your service, but also your leadership and your friendship. So we wish you the best of luck. I know you will still be around coaching and you'll still be in and out of our buildings, but I just would like to recognize you and thank you for your service. And maybe I won't be receiving any more 715 texts.
Yeah, you-
Dave?
I had a whole manual of things I wanted to say, but then Natalie stopped me at 5 minutes, so. Just thank you to everyone, it's been a great career. Worked with so many good people, so many board members. These kids in Lake Trove truly are blessed, and the future's bright. So, time to move on, let the younger ones take it.
Good luck, Mark. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Tepper. At this time, I'd like to open the floor to hearing visitors part 1. This is where anyone can enter, step to the podium, state your name and address, and speak of anything that is on our agenda for this evening. Seeing no one, I move for adoption of resolution number 278, approval of the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor and second. Questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Solicitor's report, Mr. Naples.
I recommend that you move on resolution number 279 to approve a memorandum of understanding for employee personnel matter number 2 of this school year. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
I recommend that you move on to resolution number 280 to approve a student disciplinary matter number 3 of the 2021 school year.
So moved.
We have a motion on the floor and a second. Questions or comments on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
Nothing further, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Naples. Education and planning, Mrs. Mays.
Thank you. I move for adoption of resolution number 281 to approve the updated Greater Latrobe School District's phased school opening health and safety plan for the 2021 school year and authorize the administration to submit the plan to the Pennsylvania Department of Education and post publicly on the district's website as required. Maybe a roll call vote.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
No, we need a roll call.
We need a roll call for
Oh, I'm sorry.
Ready?
Mrs. Ross.
Mrs. Kozer,
Yes.
Dr. Laughlin.
Yes.
Mrs. Maines.
Yes.
Mr. McCommons.
Yes.
Mr. Music.
Yes.
Mr. Palmer,
Yes.
Mrs. Surratt,
Yes.
Dr. Zorch,
Yes.
Mr. Hauser.
Yes.
That passes 9 yeas, 3.
Thank you, Mrs. Broski.
And move for adoption of resolution number 282 to approve the updated Greater Latrobe School District's continuity of education plan for the 2020-2021 school year, and authorize administration to submit the plan to the Pennsylvania Department of Education and post publicly on the district's website as required.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments? Mrs. Broski?
Dr. Loughlin,
Yes.
Mrs. Maines,
Yes.
Mr. McCommons,
Yes.
Mr. Music,
Yes.
Mr. Palmer,
Yes.
Mrs. Surratt,
Yes.
Dr. Zorch,
Yes.
Mrs. Kozer,
Yes.
Mr. Hauser.
Yes.
That also passes 9 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Mrs.
I move for
Mays?
adoption of resolution number 283 to approve Westmoreland Intermediate Unit Lending Library Agreement, which includes STEM kits and equipment for the 2021-22 school year.
Second.
A motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
I also move for adoption of resolution number 284 to approve Clelian Heights service agreement for the 21-22 school year.
A motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
I also move for adoption of resolution number 285 to approve the WCMEA 6th grade Concourse Festival. Second.
A motion on the floor, second. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
I move for adoption of resolution number 286 to approve a tuition student for the, I think that it should be, 21-22 school year, as listed.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
I move for adoption of resolution number 287 that the Greater Latrobe Board of School Directors hereby approves and adopts the following 2021 approved tuition rates as calculated by the Pennsylvania Department of Education. Elementary, $9,760.22, and secondary, $10,287.28.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
The next curriculum committee meeting is still to be determined. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Mays. Finance, I'd like to bundle number 288 and 289 together. That would be the treasurer's report and payment of bills. I move for adoption.
Second.
The motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. I move for adoption of resolution number 290 of the adoption of 2021-2022 final operating budget.
Second.
A motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments on the motion? We have a roll call vote. Mrs. Broski, please.
Mrs. Maines,
Yes.
Mr. McCommons,
Yes.
Mr. Music,
Yes.
Mr. Palmer,
Yes.
Mrs. Surratt,
Yes.
Dr. Zorch,
Yes.
Mrs. Kozer,
Yes.
Dr. Loughlin, and Mr. Hauser.
Yes.
Okay.
That was, move for adoption of resolution number 291 that would approve the adoption of 21-22 millage levy.
Second.
A motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments on the motion? Roll call vote, Ms. Borowski.
Mr. McCommons? Mr. Music?
Yes.
Mr. Palmer? Mrs. Surratt?
Yes.
Dr. George?
Yes.
Mrs. Kozer?
Yes.
Dr. Laughlin? Mrs. Maines?
Yes.
And Mr. Hubbard?
Yes. Thank you. I move for adoption of resolution number 292, authorize the 2021 homestead farmstead exclusion.
Second.
A motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
That motion passes. I move for adoption of resolution number 293, the reenactment of Act 511 tax for 21-22 school year.
Second.
A motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
That motion passes. I move for adoption of resolution number 294, the reenactment of per capita taxes for 21-22 school year. Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. I move for adoption of resolution number 295 to approve the extension of the section 125 cash benefit cap for 2021-22 school year. A motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. I move for adoption of resolution number 296 to approve the 2021-2022 insurance renewals as listed.
Second.
Motion on the floor, second. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. I move for adoption of resolution number 297 to approve 5-year agreement with Horner, Bible, and Terrell, DC for auditing services.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. I move for adoption of resolution number 298 to approve disposal sale of property.
Second.
A motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. I move for adoption of resolution number 299 to approve the tax appeal settlements.
Second.
Motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Our Finance Committee meeting minutes from June 8th are attached. Next Finance Committee meeting will be Tuesday, August 17th, 5:30 p.m. at the Senior High School Library. Facilities Operation Planning, Mr. Palmer.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of resolution number 300, award quotes and or bids for 2021 capital improvements projects. See attached.
A motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
And our next facilities operations planning committee meeting will be Thursday, August 12th at 3:30 p.m. at the administration building. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Palmer. Student Activities and Recreation, Mr. Music.
Thank you. I move for adoption of resolution number 301, which is permission to bid winter sports equipment and supplies.
A second. Questions or comments on the motion? All in favor? Opposed? That motion passes.
And the next student activities and recreation committee meeting is to be determined. And moving on to transportation, the next transportation committee also will need to be determined.
Thank you, Mr. Music. Community Relations, Mrs. Surratt.
Thank you, Mr. Hauser. I move for the adoption of resolution number 302 to approve the 2021-2022 free and reduced price meal policy.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
We also ask your approval of resolution number 303 to approve the 2021-2022 National School Breakfast Program.
Second.
Motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
And finally, we ask the adoption of resolution number 304 to approve the 2021-2022 National School Lunch Program.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
And lastly, the next meeting of the Latrobe GLSD Park and Recreation Commission meeting will be Thursday, June the 17th at 4 o'clock at the Latrobe Municipal Building Council Chambers.
Thank you, Mrs. Surratt. Westmoreland Intermediate Unit Liaison, Mrs. Mays.
Yes, thank you. I move for adoption of resolution number 305 to award the award of multi-purpose paper bid through the WIU Joint Purchasing Consortium. And that also requires a roll call vote.
A motion on the floor, we have a second.
Second.
A motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments on the motion? Mrs. Borowski?
Mr. Music?
Yes.
Mr. Palmer?
Yes.
Mrs. Surratt?
Yes.
Dr. Dorch?
Yes.
Mrs. Kozer?
Yes.
Dr. Laughlin? Yes. Mrs. Maines?
Yes.
Mr. McCommons?
Yes.
And Mr. Hauser?
Yes.
That passes 98
Thank you. Mrs. Mays?
Oh, I'm sorry. And the next WIU committee meeting will be held on Tuesday, June 22nd at 7 p.m. in the WIU Fort Ligonier room at the WIU building.
Thank you, Mrs.
Thank you.
Mays. EWCTC Joint Operating Committee, Mrs. Kozar. Does somebody else want to take that, Mr.
Mr.
Palmer?
Palmer can do it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing to report this evening, however, our next meeting will be Wednesday, June 23rd at 7 p.m. at the East and Westmoreland Center.
Thank you, Mr. Palmer. Board Policy Liaison, Mrs. Surratt.
And we're announcing our next board policy meeting will be Thursday, July the 15th at 10 a.m. at the administration building.
Thank you, Mrs. Surratt. Technology, Mr. Palmer.
Nothing to report this evening, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Palmer. Superintendent's recommendations, Dr. Tepper.
Thank you, Mr. Hauser. I'd ask the board to move on resolution number 306 as stated. Chad Kissel, tennis boys head coach. Chad Kissel, tennis girls head coach. Courtney Stinchell, varsity boys junior high coach. Melissa Bartels, classroom assistant. And Lindsay Scarbo, elementary principal at Mountain View Elementary.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
This is an exciting time of the year as we welcome new employees to our district. And I'd like to ask the board to please move on resolution number 307 to approve professional personnel. John Yester for secondary mathematics. Emily Stevens, special education. And Stephen Dominic, technology education.
moved.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
And I would like the board to meet our new teachers. So if you don't mind, we'll start with John Nestor. I don't know if you want to stand there, or you want to come to the mic, it's up to you.
John, the first person listed needs to sing the Greater Latrobe Alma Mater.
I haven't rehearsed that one. Next time for sure. Oh, good evening, everyone. My name is John Yester. I'm here for the secondary mathematics position. I wanted to thank everyone for having me and letting me be a part of Greater Latrobe School District. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm excited to be here. I've been in Norwin as a student teacher, and I've been teaching in the recovery program over the summer, and I've also been a coach at South Norland School District for their varsity football team. And I'm looking forward to being part of the academics and athletics here as well. So thank you again.
And Emily Stevens.
Emily, the second person to the podium, has to sing the fight song.
I also have not practiced. I'm Emily Stevens. I've been classroom assistant at Bagley for the past 4 years. Half of the time in autistic support, the other half as just general education classroom assistant. So I'm very excited to move up to the junior high. I'm very blessed to be here, very thankful to be a part of the staff, and thank you all very much.
And last but not least, Stephen Dominic.
Steve.
Stop it.
I was just going to tell me I have to take beers out to lunch.
Okay, that's good.
Dear old Latrobe High.
That's a good place.
I'm Stephen Dominic, technology education. I've been teaching for 17 years. I've been a lot of different places, and I was born and raised here, and I'm very grateful and humbled to be here. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you and congratulations to everybody. We look forward to working with you. I'd ask the board to please move on resolution number 308 to approve support personnel, summer workers, and substitute secretaries as stated.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
I'd ask the board to please move on resolution number 309 to approve support personnel. John Yester, football first assistant, Nathan Snazaski, band director assistant, Rachel Murphy, cheerleader assistant coach, and Paige Albiani, golf junior varsity coach.
We have a motion on the floor, and second. Questions or comments on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
Wait a second. Was that ID that we lost?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right, we're good to go.
Okay, we good with that?
We'll just, Heidi, what we did was we went with the motion, and apparently you had ducked out on us for a second there. This resolution number 309 to approve support personnel supplemental appointments. And your vote is yay or nay?
Yay.
Yay!
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yay.
I'd ask the board to please move on.
My fault.
So please move on resolution number 310, permission to realign staff as needed. This is an annual resolution that is asked for approval.
Second.
A motion on the floor, and second. Questions or comments on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
That motion passes.
I'd ask the board to please move on resolution number 311 to approve Act 93 staff assignment change, to change Chad Krellick's assignment from the senior high school assistant principal to Mountain View Elementary School principal at his current salary, and the date effective is July 1.
So moved.
We have a motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Approved?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
And I just want to say we're very excited to have Mr. Krellick at the elementary school at Mountain View. Mr. Krellick's been with us for 15 years now. Actually was one of my assistants when I was high school principal. I know he will do a fabulous job, so congratulations. I'd ask the board to please move on resolution number 312 to approve Act 93 Management Team Administrator Jessica Pellegrino as Senior High Assistant Principal to replace Mr. Krellick at a salary of $80,000 effective July 1.
So moved. We have a motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
That motion passes.
And Jessica, I know you're right behind the post. Just right behind you. Come up.
What's my assignment, Mr. President?
I got yelled at the last time, sorry.
I just wanted to thank everybody for this opportunity. I'm really looking forward to serving our students, parents, and teachers at the high school at a greater capacity. So thank you all very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Mr. Brinker, I know she can sing the alma mater. She's a band kid. She knows.
It's not a doubt. It's not a doubt.
And I'm sure she sings it better than Mr. Trump. Okay. I'd ask the board to please move on resolution number 313 to approve Chad Krellick as a transportation liaison stipend of $4,000 for the 2021-2022 school year.
We have a motion on the floor and a second. Questions or comments on the motion?
Chad, if you need to talk to somebody at 3:30 in the morning in February, it's okay. Call me anytime.
I thought you were going to tell him call Mark.
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
That motion passes.
I'd ask the board to please move on resolution number 314 to approve teacher leader positions and salaries for the 2021-22 school year as stated in the attachment.
Second. So moved.
Second.
A motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
That motion passes.
I'd ask the board to please move on resolution number 315 to approve classified personnel hourly rate of pays effective July 1st, 2021, as stated in the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
A motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
That motion passes.
I'd ask the board to please move on resolution number 316 to approve on-road driver education instructors for the 2021-22 school year, Anthony M. Bassiano, Jason Bridge, Joseph McComey, and Scott Saper at the hourly rate of $30.50.
So moved.
We have a motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
That motion passes.
I'd ask the board to please move on resolution number 317 to approve a sabbatical leave, that the Greater Latrobe Board of Education and School Director approve a sabbatical leave to employee number 3407 for the 2021-2022 school year.
So moved.
Second.
A motion on the floor and second. Questions or comments on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
And our board meeting dates, just a reminder that there is no board meeting in July. Our committee of the whole meeting will be Tuesday, August 17th at 7:30 p.m. right here in the CSC, followed by our regular board meeting Tuesday, August 24th at 7:30 p.m. Sorry to be talking all the states.
Thank you, Mrs. Tucker.
You're welcome, thank you.
At this time, I'd like to open the floor up to hearing of visitors, part 2. This is where you may come to the podium, state your name, your address, and please limit it to 5 minutes on any concern that you have with the district.
Over here. Okay, you go first. My name is Paige Wallace. I live at 139 Wentz Road. I may be a little late to the show here for this, because I know there was already something out that was addressed, but I'm here to address an issue that's been brought to my attention only recently, that the German and French programs for the junior high students will be removed from the curriculum and forced to online. If we learned anything from this last year, online instruction will never meet the needs of a student like in-person courses can. I know many students struggle, especially my own, although they are young. I think it carries on into the junior high. I feel this recommendation is done under many of the parents' noses because many of us are very busy. We don't get to hear these things until it's already too late and the action's already put into place. I was lucky enough to kind of catch on to something that was being dropped out of a curriculum that when I went to high school, I had a choice of all 3 languages. Taking the German and French program option away from students forces yet another mandatory course that they may otherwise excel in if they had a chance to choose. Families are very diverse and should have the option to choose what elective language they study throughout their early educational years. I live next door to a bilingual speaking family where their first choice of language is German. I live in a dual military family where we see German and French all the time. Spanish is very common, but you really stand out when you know another language. Spanish is the most common and expected choice, but we should leave this up to the student. The languages may not be getting the numbers Spanish are, but you're taking this away from the ones who do enjoy a different type of culture. Being presented the opportunity to broaden their choices gives them a sense of individuality that is needed to separate each one of them from the pack. I stress the need to keep these programs available to all students. As a concerned parent, by the time my girls have the chance, it could already be decided for them, and both of these languages could be dead to everyone. Instead of omitting these programs, we should be informing and educating the students on the opportunities that they possess and that they present for their future.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jan Stewart. I live at 1010 Hillcrest Drive in Greensburg, not in Latrobe. However, I'm here this evening. I'm a retired Hempfield French teacher and World Language Department Chair. So I'm here as representing world languages, but also I'm representing the Pennsylvania State Modern Language Association, of which I've been a member, an officer and a member of the Executive Council for, oh gosh, nearly 20 years. First of all, I'd like to thank all of you for the service you provide to this community and to students to ensure that they have great opportunities to succeed in their futures. I'd also like to commend the Greater Latrobe School District because you have been a leader in world language education. You are a PEP, which is the PSMLA exemplary program school, and have a silver award, global award, because of your strong program in 3 languages. You are also, in the last 4 years, graduated 18 global scholars. That's very commendable. And you have one of 17 teachers across the state of Pennsylvania, Katie Zalewski, who is a global educator because of her consistent participation and mentoring of global scholars in your district. And I was thrilled to see the articles in the Latrobe Bulletin in February and in the Tribune Review in March that documented all of the above. So I'm here to address the same consideration in that I just hope you will make an informed decision when you do make a final decision about the French and German programs at Greater Latrobe School District. Much of what was just said, I reiterate, and I'll try to make it short. You know this already, but from the Pennsylvania Department of Education website, I'm going to just read a couple of statements. To study another language and culture is to gain an especially rich preparation for the future. Studying world language and its cultural influences enhances one's personal education in many ways. Students who study a second language and culture have a powerful foundation for successful communication in the ever-growing local, national, and world communities. In addition, according to the Pennsylvania Department of Education, every school district shall provide planned instruction in at least 2 languages. Even the smallest of school districts must provide 2 planned language languages for their students. And fortunately for you, you are not one of the smallest school districts. You know that there are multiple advantages of learning a second language, being bilingual, being proficient in second language, including enhanced opportunities personally, professionally, and academically. In fact, a person who is proficient or knowledgeable in a second language stands to earn more money in the world, in the world of business. It's documented that they do have higher salaries. And we do know that one size does not fit all. I guess, for instance, not all athletes are runners. Not all musicians play the flute. Not all scientists are chemists. And not all world language students are Spanish students. I'm not speaking negatively of any single language, so please forgive me for making that statement. But I will say that they need a choice. Just as an athlete chooses the avenue that he or she will pursue and excel in, so must a world language student. I personally would not be standing here before you this evening as someone whose life has been completely enriched, personally, professionally, and academically, if I had been pigeonholed into a language other than the one that I chose to pursue. And I say academically, even as an adult, my doctoral dissertation focused on the benefits of second language learning for students in the state of Pennsylvania. So my involvement in learning, in teaching a world language and involvement with the world language continued to follow me throughout my life. So I just hope that you will take into consideration that as you move forward with your decisions, the importance of multiple language offerings in a school district. We know the importance, if we look to the south of the United States, at Central and South America, the importance of knowing Spanish and some Portuguese as well. But if we look to our north, to Canada, or to our east, to Europe, the opposite is true. It's French and German that dominate in those environments. The G7, which is
I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Can you wrap up?
I will wrap up right now. So I just want to, real quickly, in the state of Pennsylvania, this will be my last bit of data for you. In the state of Pennsylvania, there are, according to the Pennsylvania.gov website, there are over 6,000 foreign-owned businesses in our state. And I want to tell you that 28% of those 6,000 businesses are from German-speaking countries. 22% are from French-speaking countries. Less than 1% are from Spanish-speaking countries. The bottom line is, for students to be able to be prepared adequately for success in the global economy and community, they need to have various avenues to pursue for that success. I thank you for your time.
Ms. Singh?
Ms. Stewart?
Yes,
You said you're the president of your organization.
I am the past president and current secretary, yes.
I guess I, as the assistant superintendent, and I don't want to speak for Dr. Tepper, I don't argue with any of the facts that you just laid forth. And I think that we, as a school district, appreciate the fact that our kids do have 3 opportunities. First of all, we're not going to eliminate those opportunities. We're going to have online opportunities for them in German and French if we move forward. But I guess as a past president of your organization, I would ask maybe that you reach out to our French and German teachers, because our issue is that they're not only are they not recruiting students into those languages, but they're not retaining them either. And really, that's what is driving our decision. It's not that we devalue the languages, or we don't care, or we don't want our kids to have opportunities, but not only can they not get them interested, but they can't keep them interested. And we have 2 teachers in each of those languages, and we're not working with that many students. So really, that was what was driving our decision. Whereas we look at our Spanish numbers, we have droves of students that seem to not only want to take Spanish, but then they continue through with it in the program. So I would just encourage you to reach out. I'm sure you have connections with our German and French teachers.
I certainly do.
But if you could, I'm sure maybe recruitment wasn't an issue at Hempfield. I don't know, I'm sure it was. But if you could just reach out to them, please, and maybe give them some ideas.
Maybe you saw in the paper that Hempfield just eliminated a Spanish teacher for this coming school year. It's
But
kind
that's
of the opposite situation. But I will state that in virtually every district, the district across the state, the Spanish program tends to be stronger for various reasons. So it's not unusual for the Spanish program to have more students in it. But
in this case, they've got 5 to 6 times more than what our German and French programs do. And again, I would encourage you as their colleague to reach out to them and talk to them and offer them ways to maybe recruit and retain kids across the 6 years, okay?
Thank you. I would be glad to do that.
And Dr. Stewart, I would just like to say, I reiterate the value of the languages. My husband is first generation German, and he's fluent in German. We administratively are also faced with the responsibility to review all of our curricular offerings and student enrollment on an annual basis. And our German and French numbers, I've been with the district for over 22 years. And as even an assistant principal starting at the high school, there were discussions every year regarding we need to recruit the students, speaking with the teachers, you need to retain your students. So this is not something that has just occurred overnight. It has, enrollment has continued to decline. It was lower than Spanish in the past 22 years ago, but has continued to decline. And it's our job to be fiscally responsible and make a recommendation. And I do want to point out as well, we are continuing to look with various ways for synchronous instruction and not just utilizing ECATs. And we will continue to do that. And every student that is enrolled as of 7th grade of 2021-2022, this upcoming school year, will have the opportunity to complete their language through their senior year. Additionally, what you stated from the Pennsylvania Department of Education that you must offer 2 languages, you are correct. However, you only have to offer 1 language in a 4-year sequence.
That's right, that is correct.
So I wanted to clarify that. So we are abiding by state code and with the Pennsylvania Department of Education.
Okay, thank you. And I completely, I do understand about the 4 years. And I am impassioned, but also for practical as well as other reasons about the study of world languages and how beneficial it is in the world. As I get, again, personally but professionally, it opens doors. My own daughter, who is not in languages, is in a scientific field, because of her exposure, probably from living in my home, as well as having studied in high school and a little bit in college. Somehow she developed an ear for language, and she has just climbed the ladder and is part of an internet, like a global marketing program. Even though she's not proficient in a language, personally and statistically, doors are opened. And again, as I said, one size doesn't fit all, so it would be sad to see some doors closed for students if the doors are not left open. But I appreciate that if they start this year in 7th grade, they will have the opportunity to complete through their senior year, which is
Yes.
wonderful, as it should be.
Thank
And maybe by then things will change.
you. Don't know, right?
Well, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, I appreciate it.
Anyone else? Seeing no one, I move for adoption. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you.
My name is Will Brigham, I live at 204 Denali Drive, Latrobe. First of all, I wanted to address the fact that last month when I was here to speak to the board, I heard somebody say something after the students had come up here and talking about the French and German program. I got the microphone, somebody said, "You're too old." First I thought it was somebody from out in the audience out here saying, you know, one of my friends heckling me a little bit. But when I questioned them after the meeting, somebody said, "No, I think I came from the board table." So if it did, now I'm not sure it did or not, but if it came from the board table, I'm offended. So my thoughts about that were, if it did come from the board, I'd like to challenge one of you to get your bicycle out of the garage, meet me down at the Pleasant County Fire Hall, and we'll take a trip up to St. Boniface Church up on the ridge. If you get there before I do, you can call me old. I get there first, and you have to buy the beer. Okay, now, the second thing I want to talk about, we talked about the French and German program being phased out. I said to hear about that. And you talked about the teachers have to try to hold on to the students. I just hired a new elementary Spanish teacher to go down to this elementary schools and promote Spanish, but you haven't hired a German French elementary teacher to go down there and help promote it. So when you have the teachers in junior high and senior high school preparing and teaching, how can they be promoting the elementary level to come up and take it? It's not there.
School visitations, they've done that in the past.
I actually had a concerned parent reach out to me, and he remembered when he was a student that the French club and the German club would go to the elementary schools and they would have a day of cultural awareness for elementary school students. He assumed that we stopped that type of activity. We haven't. It just doesn't happen anymore. Why? I don't know. They used to run a world language camp in the summertime to promote cultural awareness with the elementary kids. It doesn't happen anymore. Why did we hire a Spanish teacher to go to the elementary school? Because 86% of employers, according to our data and nationwide data, want Spanish-speaking students. I appreciate what you said. I do. I really do. I would love to keep them all. But the reality is, Mr. Brigham, they can't keep their kids. And I don't know why. But it's not for us not giving them the opportunity to go into the elementary schools. Spanish teachers have 160 kids that walk into their schools. They don't go to the elementary and recruit either, but that's what they get. It's just not fiscally responsible to have 2 German teachers and 2 French teachers with 1/5 of the kids that our Spanish folks have. I wish they would have 150 kids, but they don't. And as such, we fill their schedules year after year with other things to sustain 2 teachers in each of those languages. I just don't see that being fiscally responsible. To hire a Spanish teacher to go to the elementary, I believe is a good use of our resources because we're strengthening a program that's already pretty strong.
Is there a certain, you have 5 times the Spanish students. Is there a magic number or what you have to get to before you're saying we're going to phase this out?
One thing I've learned in public education in 24 years is there are no magic numbers for anything. And I usually get this in the fall when folks come and they want to talk about elementary class size and they want to know how many kids are in a class before we add another teacher. There's no magic number there. Mr. Mears used to get that number, now Mr. Kralik gets that number all the time. How many inches does it take, how many inches of snow does it take to close school? There's no magic number. We got it with COVID. How many COVID cases did we need before we closed the school? There's no magic number. There's no magic number here. Because we're looking at 10 to 15 years worth of data that just shows this.
I talked to other people from other school districts, and somebody said, well, we eliminated the German program because we were down to 6. You know, when you got 112, 133 in German and French, that seems like a big number.
Well, again, you have to realize we have four teachers that have half schedules with the world language, that we are finding other things for them to do to fill their schedule. That's not fiscally responsible.
You know, it's just frustrating to think.
I know it is.
We have
It
to
frustrates us
phase
as
this
well.
out and
It frustrates us as
eliminate
well.
the
And
in-class instruction, because after what we went through with the COVID, to put them online, maybe the cream of the crop can handle the online stuff, but those that are in the middle or the lower end of it, it isn't gonna go.
And again, we have a year to work on the best delivery model that we can possibly offer to our students. And we have been and will continue to actively pursue that.
Wish you luck on that, and I hope it works.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing no one, I move for adoption of resolution number 318, adjournment.